People love saying honesty is the best policy. Sounds nice, but real life doesn't always reward the most honest person in the room. Sometimes the brutally honest employee gets ignored. Sometimes the honest businessman goes broke. Sometimes the person who shows all their cards in dating gets abandoned. And meanwhile, the guy who knows how to sell a vision, the girl who knows how to create mystery, the creator who knows how to build suspense, they often win. Why? Because humans don't just buy products, they buy hope. They buy excitement. They buy future possibilities. And that's where many good people lose the game. They think, if I'm sincere enough, people will naturally appreciate me. That sounds morally correct, but the market doesn't reward morality. The market rewards perceived value, and perceived value often comes from imagination. Think about startups. Many companies lose money for years, yet investors still pour millions into them. Why? Because founders sell a dream. They don't say, "We're struggling and may fail." They say, "We're building the future." Same reality, different framing, huge difference. Employees are the same. If a boss tells workers, "This company is average, your salary will stay the same, promotion chances are low, nothing exciting ahead," who wants to stay? Almost nobody. But if a boss says, "We're expanding fast, leadership opportunities are coming, people who stay early will benefit the most," now people feel excited. They work harder, they stay longer, they believe something bigger is coming. That's not automatically evil. If the company truly grows and rewards people later, everyone wins. The company gets productivity, the employee gets opportunity. That's fair. The real problem starts when people sell fake dreams with zero intention of delivering. That becomes manipulation. But selling a real future vision? That's leadership. And many overly honest people fail because they don't understand this difference. They think every form of persuasion equals lying. That mindset keeps them broke, because life often rewards people who can package reality in a compelling way. And this doesn't only apply to business, it applies to relationships too. And that's where things get even more interesting. Let's talk about dating for a second, because this is where people mess this up the most. And honestly, a lot of people lose relationships not because they're bad people, but because they reveal way too much, way too fast. You meet someone, you like them, you get excited, and suddenly you start doing everything people tell you is good. You reply instantly. You tell them your entire life story in 3 days. You explain your childhood trauma. You tell them exactly how much you like them. You become fully available. You overshare your plans. You make it painfully obvious that your whole world now revolves around them. And at first, you think this makes you look genuine. You think, "I'm just being honest. I'm showing real intentions. I'm not playing games." Sounds mature, right? But here's what often happens. The other person slowly loses interest, and the honest person gets confused. They say, "What did I do wrong? I was so real with them. I treated them well. I was transparent." Yeah, that might actually be the problem, because attraction is not built on full certainty. Attraction often grows through curiosity. Think about movies. Imagine watching a movie trailer that immediately tells you everything. Who dies? Who survives? What the ending is? Who the villain is? Every twist. Everything. Would you still watch the movie? Probably not, because curiosity disappeared. The mystery is gone. And human beings are naturally drawn toward things they haven't fully figured out. That's why luxury brands rarely scream, "Please buy us." That's why exclusive clubs make entry difficult. That's why hard-to-get opportunities often feel more valuable. And this applies heavily in dating. Now, let's be clear. This is not about manipulation. This is not about pretending you don't care. This is not about toxic dating games. That stuff gets old fast. This is about pacing. That's different. Healthy pacing means allowing connection to develop naturally. It means not emotionally dumping everything in week one. It means letting someone discover you layer by layer. Think about your favorite TV series. Why do people binge watch entire seasons? Because each episode reveals just enough. Then it leaves questions unanswered. That tension keeps people watching. Relationships work similarly. If someone feels like they already know everything about you immediately, there's less emotional excitement, there's less discovery, there's less anticipation. And anticipation is powerful, sometimes stronger than the actual reward. This is why some people accidentally destroy attraction by overgiving, especially men. A guy meets a woman he likes. Suddenly, he starts doing boyfriend-level work on day 3. Constant texting, expensive gifts, over-the-top compliments, always available, cancels plans for her, acts like she's the center of his universe. He thinks, she'll appreciate how serious I am. Sometimes she doesn't. Sometimes she feels overwhelmed. Sometimes she loses respect. Because there was no journey, no progression, no earned emotional investment. Everything was handed over immediately. And women do this too. A woman meets a guy she likes, she reveals everything instantly. Her fears, her insecurities, her entire schedule, her future plans. She becomes fully emotionally available immediately. And sometimes the man starts pulling away, not necessarily because he's evil, but because there's nothing left to discover. No mystery, no intrigue, no emotional buildup. Again, this doesn't mean becoming cold. It doesn't mean acting unavailable all the time. That's fake. People can feel fake energy. What works is having your own life, your own mission, your own priorities, your own standards. When someone sees that your life is full, they naturally become more curious. They wonder, what else is this person about? That curiosity creates attraction. And this applies outside dating too. Friendships, networking, business partnerships, even personal branding. If you constantly over-explain yourself, people lose interest. If you constantly try too hard to prove your worth, people sense desperation. Desperation kills attraction. Confident people create attraction, and confident people understand timing. They know when to reveal more. They know when to hold back. They know value doesn't need to scream. And let's be brutally honest. Sometimes people say, I hate mystery. I just want straightforward people. Sounds nice, but their actual behavior often says otherwise. They chase unpredictable partners. They binge cliffhanger shows. They love surprise product launches. They enjoy suspense. Because human brains are wired for anticipation. We crave the emotional reward of discovery. That's why keeping some mystery alive matters. Let people earn deeper access to you. Let conversations unfold naturally. Let attraction build over time. Let curiosity breathe. Because when people feel like they've fully consumed you too quickly, they often move on quickly too. And this idea doesn't just affect relationships. It also explains why people stay at jobs they hate for years, as long as they believe something better is coming. Now, let's move from dating to business. Because this exact same psychology shows up at work every single day. And once you notice it, you can't unsee it. A lot of people love saying, employees should just be loyal. They should work hard no matter what. They should be grateful to have a job. That sounds nice, but that's not how people actually work. Most employees are not waking up excited because they love spreadsheets. They're not staying late because they're deeply passionate about replying to emails. They're not grinding through stressful meetings because they enjoy suffering. They're doing it because they believe today's sacrifice leads to tomorrow's reward. That reward could be a promotion, a bigger paycheck, more freedom, better opportunities, higher status, or a better future for their family. That future expectation is what keeps people going. And smart business owners understand this. They know employees need more than money. They need a story. They need momentum. They need to feel like their effort is building towards something meaningful. That's why great leaders constantly talk about vision. They talk about expansion. They talk about future opportunities. They make employees feel like they're part of something growing. Think about startups. A startup founder often can't compete with big companies on salary. They may offer lower pay, longer hours, higher stress, more uncertainty. Sounds terrible, right? Yet talented people still join startups all the time. Why? Because founders sell possibility. They say things like, "We're building something huge. This company could explode. Early employees will benefit the most. You can grow fast here." And people buy in. Not because they're stupid, because hope is powerful. People can tolerate present pain when future upside feels real. Now compare that to the opposite type of boss. This boss tells employees, "This is your salary. No raises, no promotion opportunities, no bonuses, no flexibility, no future growth. This is it." What happens? The employee immediately starts mentally checking out. They stop caring. They do the bare minimum. They quietly update their resume. And eventually, they leave. Why? Because there's no dream, no future, no emotional reason to stay, even if the job itself is stable. Stability alone often isn't enough anymore. People want progression. And this doesn't only happen in corporate jobs. Look at commission-based industries: real estate, sales, finance, recruitment, insurance. These industries constantly sell future income potential. They tell new hires there's no cap on what you can earn. Your hard work determines your income. Top performers make 6 figures. That dream keeps people motivated. Now, of course, sometimes companies abuse this, and this is where things become unethical. Some businesses intentionally sell fake dreams. They promise promotions that never come. They promise raises that never happen. They promise equity that becomes worthless. They promise "we're family" while replacing employees overnight. That's manipulation. And eventually workers catch on. Trust gets destroyed, and once trust is gone, the dream stops working. Because dreams only work when there's at least some chance they become reality. That's what separates leadership from exploitation. A great leader creates genuine opportunity. A bad leader sells fantasy. Huge difference. And honestly, employees are becoming better at spotting fake dreams now. People have seen too much corporate nonsense. They've heard, "We value work-life balance," while being forced into overtime. They've heard, "We promote from within," while external hires get all the big roles. They've heard, "We care about employees," right before layoffs happen. That's why modern workers are more skeptical. And honestly, that skepticism is earned. But even with all that, the psychology still hasn't changed. People still need something to look forward to. That's true everywhere. Fitness, school, investing, business, relationships. People can endure hard situations when they believe things are improving. A student studies hard because they imagine career success. An entrepreneur works insane hours because they imagine freedom. A couple survives hard times because they believe things will get better. Future vision creates present endurance. Without that vision, motivation collapses. That's why some incredibly talented managers fail. They focus only on operations, deadlines, rules, efficiency, processes. All important things, but they forget inspiration. They forget emotional buy-in. And people don't give maximum effort to systems they feel emotionally disconnected from. People want to feel progress. They want to feel possibility. They want to believe their effort matters. And if they don't feel that, they leave. Or worse, they stay physically while mentally quitting. And that's dangerous for any company, because disengaged employees can quietly destroy a business. So, whether you're running a company, leading a team, or building your own brand, remember this: people don't just work for what they have today. They work for what they believe tomorrow could become.
And if you can create a real future people believe in, you'll attract effort, loyalty, and energy. But if your promises are empty, eventually, people walk away. And what's fascinating is, this same principle is exactly why short-form content goes viral online.
Now, here's the crazy part. The exact same psychology that works in dating and works in business also controls social media, especially short-form content. TikTok, YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels. Even long-form YouTube videos use this. And once you understand this, you'll realize most viral content is built on one thing: creating anticipation. That's it. People love saying, "Just make good content." That sounds nice, but what does good even mean? There are thousands of smart videos online that nobody watches. Meanwhile, some average videos explode. Why? Because attention is the real currency online, and attention usually starts with curiosity. Think about how viral videos often begin. You've been brushing your teeth wrong your entire life. This billionaire secretly uses one weird habit. Never buy this car before watching this. This relationship mistake makes people lose attraction instantly. Notice what they're doing? They're not giving you the answer immediately. They're opening a curiosity loop. They create a small mental gap, and your brain wants that gap closed, so you keep watching. That's exactly how suspense movies work. That's exactly how good storytellers work. And that's exactly how great content creators win attention. Now imagine the opposite. Imagine a video starts like this. Today, I'm going to tell you 5 reasons your content retention drops after 30 seconds. Reason number 1 is weak hooks. Technically useful? Sure. Exciting? Not really. Many people swipe away before you even get to the valuable part, because there's no emotional pull, no curiosity, no tension, and tension keeps people watching. This is why great creators don't dump information immediately. They structure information. They tease outcomes. They delay certain answers. Not forever, just enough to keep people engaged. Look at reality TV. It's full of this. Before every commercial break, you won't believe what happens next. And people stay. Netflix does it too. Every episode ends with unresolved tension. Now suddenly you're watching season after season at 3 a.m. Same psychology. Even news media uses this. Shocking update. What experts don't want you to know. Sometimes this gets manipulative. And yes, clickbait can absolutely go too far. If your title promises something insane and your content delivers nothing, people stop trusting you. Your audience gets angry. Retention may rise once, but long-term credibility dies. That's why the best creators combine curiosity with actual value. They hook attention first, then they deliver something worth staying for. That combination is powerful. And here's where many new creators fail. They think, if my information is useful enough, people will naturally watch. Not true. Useful information without good packaging often gets ignored. That's harsh, but it's reality. Think about books. Many brilliant books fail because nobody notices them. Many average books sell millions because the marketing creates desire. Same thing online. Packaging matters. Titles matter. Thumbnails matter. First sentences matter. Your first 3 seconds matter. That's why top creators obsess with hooks. Because if people leave immediately, nothing else matters. Your amazing middle section, nobody sees it. Your powerful ending, nobody reaches it. And this doesn't only apply to creators. It applies to anyone selling ideas. Job interviews, public speaking, sales calls, dating conversations, networking. If you immediately reveal everything, you remove intrigue, you kill momentum, you eliminate curiosity. And curiosity is often what creates engagement. Now, again, this doesn't mean becoming fake.
That's where people misunderstand this concept. You're not lying, you're structuring attention. Big difference. A movie trailer doesn't reveal the whole movie. That doesn't make it dishonest. A great speaker doesn't reveal their final point in the first sentence. That doesn't make them manipulative. A creator who builds suspense isn't automatically unethical. They're understanding audience psychology. And human beings love anticipation. We love wondering what happens next. We love delayed rewards. We love discovering things gradually. That's why instant full access often reduces perceived value. And creators who understand this become extremely powerful. They know how to hold attention in a world where everyone scrolls endlessly. And attention today is incredibly valuable, because attention turns into followers, customers, influence, brand deals, ad revenue, business growth, opportunity. All of it starts with getting people to stay long enough to care. And the creators who master this understand one uncomfortable truth. Being informative is not enough. Being talented is not enough. Being honest is not enough. You need to know how to make people curious, because if nobody watches, your value never gets seen. And this leads to another major mistake people make in business, dating, and life. They give away their value way too fast.
This is where a lot of people accidentally destroy their own value. And they do it with good intentions. That's what makes it dangerous. They think, if I give more, people will appreciate me more. Sounds logical, but real life often works very differently. Sometimes, the faster you give, the less people value what you're offering. And this happens everywhere. Dating, friendships, business, social media, even family relationships. Let's start with dating again. A guy meets someone he really likes, and within a week, he's acting like a husband. Constant texting, buying expensive gifts, always available, cancels plans for her, replies in 2 seconds, offers emotional support 24/7. He thinks she'll see how serious I am. Sometimes she doesn't see commitment, she sees desperation. And desperation rarely feels attractive. Why? Because nothing was earned. There was no progression, no emotional investment from her side. Everything was handed over immediately. And people often don't value what comes too easily. Now flip it. A woman meets a guy she likes. Very quickly, she starts doing everything. Cooking for him, helping him financially, making huge sacrifices, over-prioritizing him, emotionally overcommitting before trust is built. Again, good intentions, bad strategy. Because if someone receives maximum benefits without proving commitment, they often become comfortable while investing very little. And that imbalance creates resentment later. This happens in friendships too. You become the always available friend, the free therapist, the person who always helps, always listens, always solves problems, always says yes. At first, people love having access to you. But over time, some people stop respecting your time, because unlimited access often lowers perceived value. And then you get frustrated. You say, why do people only call me when they need something? Because you trained them to. You taught them your energy was free. Business works the same way. Many entrepreneurs panic when they're trying to get customers, so they start over-delivering. Huge discounts, free extra services, unlimited revisions, constant availability, cheap pricing. And customers start expecting more and paying less. Now the business owner feels trapped because they attracted people who love cheap access, not real value. Luxury brands understand this perfectly. Hermes doesn't beg people to buy bags. Rolex doesn't scream discounts every weekend. Ferrari doesn't make itself easily available to everyone. Part of their perceived value comes from scarcity. Limited access creates desire. Harder access often increases status. Now, obviously, you don't need to become fake or arrogant. That's where people get this wrong. This is not about pretending you're too important for everyone. It's about understanding pacing and boundaries. Healthy value exchange requires effort on both sides.
If you give everything immediately, you remove incentive. Think about video games. Why do people keep playing? Because rewards are unlocked gradually. Imagine if a game gave players every weapon, every level, every achievement in the first 5 minutes. People would get bored instantly. No challenge, no anticipation, no progression. Same psychology. Humans enjoy earning things. We value what requires effort. Even in careers, if someone gets promoted without proving competence, coworkers lose respect. If a business gives massive discounts constantly, customers wait for cheaper offers. If content creators reveal every major point in the first 10 seconds, viewers leave. This goes back to delayed gratification. And honestly, many people struggle with this because they fear losing people. They think, if I don't give enough right now, they'll leave. So they overcompensate. They overexplain, overgive, overinvest, overchase. But ironically, that behavior often pushes people away faster. Why? Because neediness creates pressure, and pressure makes people uncomfortable. Confidence feels different. Confidence says, I have value, but access to that value happens gradually. That applies in relationships, that applies in friendships, that applies in business, that applies in content creation. Even employers do this. They don't immediately hand new employees top salaries, leadership roles, and full trust on day one. Those things are earned over time, because commitment usually grows in layers. And the strongest relationships, romantic, professional, or personal, are built through mutual investment, not one person giving everything while the other gives nothing. That model always collapses eventually. So ask yourself, are you building healthy reciprocity, or are you trying to buy loyalty through overgiving? Huge difference. Because real value isn't about flooding people with benefits. It's about creating something meaningful enough that people are willing to invest back. And there's one final piece most people completely ignore. Where exactly is the line between creating hope and straight-up manipulation?
And this is where we need to be very honest. Because everything we talked about so far can be used in two completely different ways. One path creates win-win outcomes. The other path turns you into a scammer. And the difference matters. A lot of people hear ideas like create mystery, sell a vision, build anticipation, don't give too much too fast, and they immediately think, so basically manipulate people. No, that's lazy thinking. And honestly, that mindset is exactly why some people become dangerous, because they take powerful psychological principles and use them with zero ethics. Let's start with business. A good leader sells employees a future they genuinely believe they can help create. They say, we're growing. There will be opportunities. People who perform well will move up. And then they actually deliver. Promotions happen. Raises happen. Recognition happens. Growth happens. That's leadership. People worked hard. The company benefited. Employees benefited. That's a fair exchange. Now compare that to a terrible boss. They constantly promise, big promotion coming soon. Just wait a little longer. We're all going to be rich. This company is about to explode. And year after year, nothing happens. No raises, no growth, no reward. That's not leadership. That's exploitation. That boss is borrowing people's effort using fake hope. And eventually, people figure it out. Then they leave, and they tell everyone else. Reputation spreads fast, and once people stop believing your promises, you lose power permanently. The same thing happens in dating. Creating mystery is healthy. Manipulation is not. Healthy mystery means you have boundaries, you have your own life, you reveal yourself gradually, you let attraction grow naturally. Manipulation looks like hot and cold behavior, intentional emotional confusion, fake jealousy games, breadcrumbing people, disappearing to gain control.
That stuff might create short-term obsession, but it destroys trust. And trust is what long-term relationships need. Then there's content creation. This is huge online right now. A creator makes a title, "This secret habit made me a millionaire." Doctors hate this trick. This one food melts fat instantly. And then the actual video says absolutely nothing useful. That's pure clickbait. And audiences eventually punish that. They stop watching, they unsubscribe, they stop trusting you. But creators who use curiosity ethically, they win long-term. They make strong hooks, they create suspense, but they still deliver real value. That's why people keep coming back. Same psychology, different ethics. And this applies to friendships too. Some people intentionally withhold kindness. They make others chase approval. They weaponize attention. They create fake scarcity. That's toxic. That's not high value. That's insecurity wearing expensive clothes. Real high-value people don't manipulate access. They simply understand boundaries. And boundaries naturally create respect. That's very different. At the core of all this, you need to ask one simple question. Am I creating real value, or am I creating fake fantasy? That question exposes everything. If your dream creates opportunity, great. If your dream steals from people, you're the problem. And here's the bigger truth nobody likes talking about. People need hope. People need excitement. People need something to believe in. That's why religions grow. That's why brands grow. That's why political movements grow. That's why startups grow. That's why influencers grow. People are attracted to compelling futures. The future is powerful, and whoever controls future imagination often controls attention. But if you abuse that power, you eventually collapse, because fake dreams always expire. Reality always shows up. Always. The fake guru gets exposed, the lying boss loses employees, the manipulative partner gets left, the clickbait creator loses audience trust. Maybe not immediately, but eventually. And the people who truly win long-term, they understand both psychology and ethics. That combination is rare. They know how to attract attention. They know how to create desire. They know how to inspire effort. But they also know how to deliver real results. That's why they last. And that's the final lesson. Being overly honest can make you invisible, but being manipulative can destroy your future. The real skill is learning how to create excitement while still being real enough to deserve people's trust. That's where real influence lives.